Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel today. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the biggest winners and the biggest losers so far in NFL free agency. Now, free agency started on Monday. It is currently Friday, so obviously not everybody has signed, but I think the majority of big moves and big players have already settled into their new teams. And I think every free agency cycle, you get teams that clearly win free agency, teams that clearly lose free agency, and then you have most teams that kind of line up somewhere in the middle. I think that there are some clear winners and losers during this cycle, and I am going to get in that in just a second. But before I do, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. If you guys would like to see a part 2 to this video, let me know in the comments down below. I think that there are a lot of winners and losers. I wasn't able to fit them all in this video, and I will definitely do a part 2 if you guys would like me to. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the first winner, which is running backs. You know, there was a huge revolt last year because running backs felt like they weren't getting the appropriate salary for their play. They weren't able to secure long-term extensions with guaranteed money. And this free agency cycle has been kind of the opposite. We have seen a lot of big money thrown around for running backs. Just to name a few, Josh Jacobs got $48 million. Saquon Barkley got $37.5 million from the Eagles. Both Tony Pollard and DeAndre Swift got $24 million, and then Derrick Henry got $16 million from the Ravens. That's not even mentioning the fact that the Texans traded and then extended Joe Mixon for 3 years and $27 million. Bit of an overpay if you ask me, but regardless, running backs are getting the big payday that they have been campaigning for. Austin Eckler even got it on it. He got $11 million, which to me is highway robbery, but you know what? He got paid, and that's good for him, obviously. Next, let's go into the first loser of free agency, and that is Justin Fields. More specifically, Justin Fields' trade value. Now, the Bears held out on trading Justin Fields. I know they had some offers on the table. They were negotiating with a few teams pre-free agency, and the Bears held out to try to get a better deal. Now, the problem with that is that they were not able to come to a deal with any team, and it seems like every single team has filled their void at quarterback or has the draft position to do so in April. And the market for Justin Fields has dwindled significantly. It was thought of at the time that the Bears could get a second-round pick for Justin Fields. Now it's like maybe a third. I think they'd be lucky to get, a middle third for Justin Fields right now. I mean, I think this trade has been completely botched. I think they should have taken it while they had maybe an offer on the table from a different team. And I think the longer they wait, the longer that Justin Fields is suffering, and the lower that his trade value is going to end up being. Let's talk about another winner. And the second winner for this video is going to be the big boys. Them interior offensive linemen, interior defensive linemen. First of all, Christian Wilkins, congratulations, my friend. You have just made generational wealth. Over $100 million this time with the Raiders. Speaking of $100 million, guard Robert Hunt signed a $100 million deal with the Carolina Panthers. Absolutely astonishing. That's not even, one of their biggest moves. They also signed Damian Lewis, who I think on his best day is a pretty average guard, for $53 million. The big boys in the interior are getting paid and paid handsomely this offseason. We saw DJ Reader move, John Runyon, a lot of these other guys. I mean, I think interior linemen are in high demand, and the checkbooks of these teams are proving that. I think the next big winners of free agency have to be the Atlanta Falcons. First of all, you got your man. You got Kirko Chains to be your next quarterback, which, not that anybody wouldn't be, but he is a significant upgrade from what you had in Desmond Ridder. And speaking of Desmond Ridder, you were able to flip him for, I think, a quality receiver in Rondale Moore. I don't necessarily think he's a superstar or anything, but he's definitely adequate. He's athletic. He's fast. He's able to make plays. And you got it for a guy who was going to be your backup quarterback. So that's a good deal. You also signed Darnell Mooney for $39 million, which, again, I think was a bit of an overpay. But when you have the money, when you got that cash money, you can kind of throw it out and get some more players. And now I think you have a pretty complete receiver room along with Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson. And most importantly, you hopefully have your franchise quarterback in Kirk Cousins. That also allows them to be flexible with pick number 8. My guess is they would go with a defensive lineman a la Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, whichever lineman they prefer. I think that would pair nicely. And, all of a sudden, I think the Falcons have positioned themselves to be the clear favorites in the NFC South. My next loser for this video is going to be the Washington Commanders. The Commanders came into this offseason with boatloads of money, and they definitely spent it. Don't get me wrong, they definitely spent it, but I really wonder if any of the players that they committed to financially are going to help them win. Austin Eckler for 11 million, Marcus Mariota, Dorrance Armstrong, is a very unproven pass rusher. I did like their signings of Tyler Biazis and Frankie Louvu on defense, and Jeremy Chin is a good deal as well. But like Bobby Wagner for 8.5 million, I love you, Bobby, but you're not the same guy. This isn't 2012, right? Let's be honest. So I thought that they definitely focused on quantity over quality, which is not the way I think you want to go. I don't know if any of these players really move the needle for them or are going to help them win games in the future. And I understand that they had like massive needs to fill. Like they didn't even have NFL quality players at certain positions. I get it, but like, is Cleveland Farrell supposed to make me excited? Is Dante Fowler gonna make me excited? No. Yeah, and I just think that they really kind of ran in place there. They really didn't get too much better. I can count, with about 3 fingers the amount of players that I think are actually going to improve this team. And it's kind of disappointing when you had all that cap space and you really don't make the team much better. And then my last winner for this video is going to be the Houston Texans. I thought they made significant improvements on defense. They signed Danielle Hunter, one of the big splashes in free agency so far. They also got Danico Autry and Azeez Al-Shaair, repairing him up with D'Amico Ryans, formerly of the San Francisco 49ers. And, you got Joe Mixon. And while I definitely think the contract they gave him was a little bit overkill, he is a difference-making running back, or at least he has been in the past. And that's not something that C.J. Stroud and the Texans offense had last year. They were pretty one-dimensional, which is even more impressive considering how dominant they were. But if Joe Mixon can be a version of what he was in Cincinnati, I think this has unlocked another level of offense for them. And I think they've made themselves significantly better this offseason so far. Now, speaking of teams from Texas, my last loser for this video will be the Dallas Cowboys. Now, before I get angry Cowboys fans talking in my mentions and my comments saying, oh, listen, I understand that you're really being held hostage by the Dak Prescott extension looming, the CeeDee Lamb extension looming, and the Micah Parsons extension looming. I did the math. It's going to be about $120 million probably that you're committing to just those 3 players. I get it. You're not in the most cap flexible spot. I understand that. However, for Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones to say that you guys are all in and that this is the year and to hype everything up and really not do anything significant whatsoever, it's pretty alarming. You lost 2 quality offensive linemen. Well, Tyron Smith hasn't signed yet, but he's going to leave. You lost 2 quality offensive linemen. You lost a pass rusher in Dorrance Armstrong. And your only addition has been Eric Kendricks, the linebacker, who is not very good. So I think that the offseason has been particularly disappointing for Cowboys fans. Again, I understand that they're going to get those extensions done sooner rather than later. My guess would be Dak is this offseason. Micah and CeeDee are next offseason. They know that. They're preparing for that. They don't want to lose any of those guys. But, for a team of the prestige of the Dallas Cowboys, it's a little disappointing to not have any big free agent signings so far. So that was my video on the winners and losers of free agency so far. Like I said, let me know if you guys want me to make a part 2 to this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Comment down below who your biggest winners and losers were, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.